Racism doesn't have any power.
Chuck, I don't agree with that. People were outwardly racist while Trump was in office. He gave the white people.
Like who?
He made it comfortable for people to be outwardly racist about how they feel. Chuck,
no, he didn't.
The climate was a lot different.
Studies came out about the racial divide trending in the wrong direction in 2013 when Barack Obama was entering his second term, when the Black Lives Matter movement jumped off. Let's not make it seem like Donald Trump led to this big increase in the racial schism in this country. That happened under Barack Obama. Since we want to go there,
but did it happen?
Since we want to go, it happened. Yes, it did happen. Yeah. We talk about one-way aggression. You allowed to be openly racist towards one particular group of people, and it's white people. Let's call a spade a spade.
White dudes are pussies.
White men are the issue.
White men are the biggest threat to America. They are.
You got analysts on MSNBC, CNN openly referring to Donald Trump and his voters as Nazis. Nowhere in popular media do you see white people saying the kinds of things that you see people saying about white people on national television, from Joy Reid, Trevor Noah, Don Lemon, over and over again.
But Chuck,
you don't see that anywhere else.
Because you can't get on mainstream media and make light of other races doesn't mean that the racial climate is still not what it is. The reason
why the racial climate is what it is because that's what critical race theory seeks to do. It seeks to polarize for the purpose of finding people who are sympathetic to your cause. And you keep on dividing one group onto itself until you create a group of disenchanted, angry, dysfunctional people that you can then use for the purpose of your liberation. That's not my words. Those are the words of Herbert Marcuse himself.
Hey, my guy was dropping too much heat. My goodness. Oh, he was spitting, dog. Whoa. I had those conversations a lot in my family, man. When I go, racism can't stop me. It's so crazy how vigorous Black people will fight you to try to tell you how much of a victim you should be, how you should think about yourself, right? And this is a conversation many Black liberals don't want to have, and this is kind of what's leading to Black fatigue. People are just tired of treating Black people with some type of special treatment, because that's what it is. I talk about how it's a pandemic in modern Black culture to use racism as an alibi, as an excuse for your bad behaviors, for your mishaps, your bad results, right? All you're doing is using racism to hide and mask your bad decision making. Because at the end of the day, if you didn't have racism to blame, let's play a game. If I took away racism as a legitimate claim of one of the reasons why you're being held back in your society, where would the blame fall onto you? First, your parents, depending on your age. But after the age of 18, it stopped being about your past. It started being about your present. That's how I see it. When I turned 18, I believe I lost every right to blame my parents for my upbringing, because from that point forward, I'm in full control of my life. I have full authority over my life and my decision making after 18 years old, right? And you still got Black people today still clinging on to grievances of the past. And I've done numerous videos on this channel about Black culture, the different visions in the Black community, because any person who's sitting here telling you that you're not really Black because you don't vote for a certain political party, Democrats, and they're trying to question your Blackness, is someone who's not very literate in Black history. Because from Booker T. Washington versus W.E. Du Bois, there's always been a diversity of thought in the Black community. And I think I blame Black liberals for this, because, you know, they run through all media, as the guy pointed out in the intro. Shout out to this guy in the video. My goodness. He was spitting. Racial tensions increased under Obama. Make it make sense. Before Obama got into office, race relations was at its best. After Obama came out of office, race relations was at its worst. You can't deny that. That's reality. And this fake narrative that, oh, Trump started it all. Nah. People ain't buying it. And this, I think Obama represented, I guess, the starting point of the decline of the Democratic Party. I honestly believe that. And I'm not the only one thinking this. Cuomo, who's a multi-generational Democrat, is also seeing it. So let's get into this clip, because I want to focus more on this, the state of the Democratic Party, because it's starting to dawn on me how their lack of support, their lack of a message really is it's like a slow moving train wreck. That's what the Democratic Party reminds me of. And I think Chris Cuomo sees it clearly. Let's take a look.
How do you keep them from having the nuke? Impeach Trump is the opposite of having a better idea. You're killing your party. You're killing your party. And look, I hope it works out for you. I hope you guys splinter off and become, whatever you really are. Because you're not a capitalist and you're not a Democrat. And, you could say, well, what do you know? I was raised by a real one. I was raised by a real one. Go ahead and criticize Mario Cuomo. What's going to be your biggest insult? That he spawned me and Andrew? Is that going to be the best you have? Because you ain't shit compared to him. Not in terms of intelligence, not in terms of success, not in terms of pedigree, not in terms of philosophy, not in terms of mission, not in terms of eloquence, not in terms of charisma, not in terms of anything. Certainly not electability. You are killing your party because you are not a real one. Because you're doing what's good for you in a vacuum with your little social media following. You're no different than a pod bro. And you're killing your party. And Democrats better wake the fuck up and realize that you're better than this. Be with the 80, not the 20. Okay?
I agreed with everything that Chris Cuomo said, except the podcast bro stuff. I take personal offense to that because I believe we're more honest about our biases or what we believe in, and we try to be more objective because at the end of the day, this is a more personable way to give information. That's my only critique to Chris Cuomo. But everything else, yeah, 100% I agree. And this is the classical liberals, like the baby boomer liberals, even some of the Gen X liberals. They're really pushing back because they're seeing the writing on the wall like I'm seeing the writing on the wall. And it's a slow-moving train wreck. It's moving in slow motion. We're Neo in the Matrix right now. And it's like they're trying to steer the ship. Hey, we're going to hit a wall. Hey, we're going to hit a wall. Maxine Waters, Chuck Schumer, they ain't hearing nothing. They ain't hearing nothing that Chris Cuomo and Bill Maher have to say because it's not what the young people want, right? And this is Cory Walker. This is one of these Twitter accounts that I follow, right? And I don't even think he's really a partisan person, right? He's a Washington correspondent. He's a Catholic, Chicagoan, Michigan, Wolverine, football, Heritage America, right? This is what happens whenever you elect progressives. I'm being radicalized into becoming a Republican. This is what Chris Cuomo's talking about. This is what Bill Maher's talking about. This is what they're warning about. Someone assassinates Charlie Kirk and wrote anti-fascist writing on the bullet cases. Now Gavin Newsom's press office is posting this. Why? Makes you think Stephen Miller's a fascist. Doesn't do any of the 80-20. Let's play the 80-20 game. Do you believe 80% of America will condone what the press office from Gavin Newsom did, or not? It's not. You're appealing to the 20, and the 80 are saying, "Yo, this stuff still happened. This happened just recently, and you're already going back to the language. You want to condemn Republicans. You want to police Republicans. You want to tell Republicans that, hey, we got to tone down the temperature. But look what you're doing. Look what you're saying. Look at what you guys doing on the streets. But you have the goal to lecture us. And you don't know how this looks to middle America. Right? And this is the funny part. This is another video. And this is the topic of the video is how the modern left has ruined the Democratic Party. And it's just, there's so much examples of it. You can just go to their page and then take this position. Hey, left-wing person, convince me to advocate for your policies. Convince me to elect your guy. Convince me to side with you. Liberals can't do it. This is why they have to resort to violence. This is why they have such a lack of impulse control, because they know they can't really win on the arguments. And I'm using this as an example. I think the argument here is that liberalism is the result of depression, or liberalism results in depression. And see how the back and forth goes. And as usual, my guy Jeffrey will give his commentary in there, and I'll jump in with mine. But let's take a quick look at this.
I'm going to tell you exactly why a study found that liberal women are the most depressed oppressed group of people in the United States, and right behind them is liberal men. Number one, they have been told by modern feminism that their deepest natural instincts make them weak, i.e. being super emotional, being empathetic, needing more rest. Therefore, every single day, they are denying their natural instincts. Number two, it's hard for them to be in successful relationships with men because they are...
That's not it, Savannah. It's because we're smarter than you.
I'm going to enjoy this. It's because we're smarter than you, he says. Let's see his proof.
It's because we're...
Hey, before I continue, did you already saw the problem with his messaging? Like, let's think about it optically. Let's say these two were in person in front of you and they're having a conversation. And she says all these points, which are valid. They're valid points. Like, those things do happen in reality, right? Career women, they have this idea where they need to find an economically attractive man, and the more money a woman makes, the less of a dating pool and that she has, less options that she has. That's an argument that leads to her case, right? First thing that opens out of his mouth, it's because we're so much smarter than you. No wonder more people are being radicalized to the Republican Party. These people can't debate. These people don't know how to advocate for anything that they believe in. The modern left has truly destroyed the Democratic Party, and this is the future. This is supposed to be the future. These are going to be the future advocates, the future leaders of the Democratic Party, and this is all they got. These are their thought leaders. Shh. Hey, maybe Republicans are going to win for another 20 years. The way this thing's going. But I digress. Let's get back into the video.
We're all a lot smarter than you. Oh, that's me. No, literally, the higher your IQ, the more likely that you are going to be diagnosed with depression.
Bro, did you even read what you put on the screen? So he's going to arrogantly and smugly come onto camera and try to make fun of the right and say that the left is smarter than the right. It's because we're...
And the left has been saying this argument for a long time, like, oh, look, the more educated someone is, the more likely there are to be a leftist, right? And I'm like, yo, because your whole college system is an indoctrination camp where there's a 12-to-1 overrepresentation of liberal ideology in school. You're literally being brainwashed with this as part of your education. This is the argument they try to do, right? And there's a tendency for high IQ people to tend to go to school, right? Because that's the path that's been told to them to do. So if these high IQ people are kind of herded to go to a certain system, aka college, right? And that college is an institution where it's dominated by overwhelmingly by one political ideology. Are you surprised that these people are aligned, or at least culturally? I don't know how you say it. Socialized into these values, into these left-wing values. This is why conservatives have such a problem with college. This is why a lot of conservatives believe that college is a scam, right? I'm just saying, it's like me making every college a religious college, and then I'm telling you, oh, look, high IQ people tend to be religious. You're going to be like, oh, of course, Kenny, look, all the colleges are Christian colleges. Of course. All they do is learn about this stuff. All they do is sprinkle this stuff in all their curriculum. Of course, these people are going to be more aligned with religion. I bring the same argument about liberalism, excuses. That's where the excuses come. But that's just one example. That's what I would say. But let's continue with what Jeffrey has to say.
Smarter than you. And he debunks himself with his own source because he's so smart that he can't even read the source he's using. Let's look at the source. The standard deviation higher score in IQ was associated with a 23 to 12% reduced risk of having sleep difficulties and depression. He's so smart that he debunked himself in front of us and still has the audacity to act smug about it. But he said something that's so true.
You ever hear the phrase, ignorance is bliss? I don't know if you've ever cracked open a book, but oh man.
Speaking of cracking open a book, maybe you should do that so you can actually learn to read the sources you're the cite. But this is the epitome of modern liberals today. Arrogant, ignorant, self-righteous, and wrong.
Here, and here. The main problem. That's what's hurting the Democratic Party right now. Let me know in the comment section you agree. Let's hear it in the comment section, right? Because I honestly, when I think back, because in college, 2016, when Trump first won or was running, I was in college. Like I just started college. I was like a freshman, sophomore in college. And I remember what got me like curious about conservatism and the right is the way that these people would slander conservatives. They'll go, oh, conservatives are this, they're racist, or that. And I'm like, how if this party's so bad, I can't believe half the country will vote for people like that. That's what got me started looking, right? Because I have trust issues. I always joke around with that. I tell my wife this all the time. I have trust issues. So when someone tells me something, I go, okay, this person says something. Let me go see for myself. I always been that way. And I think this is what allowed me, and naturally I'm a contrarian, right? I admit that about myself, right? Everyone goes right. I'm like, let me see what left is doing over here. I've always been this person. So when I see these people take these positions, and I'm like, okay, and I give even a molecule of pushback, they get angry, they get irate, they crumble, right? A lot of conjecture on their part. I'm like, okay, you don't have any evidence to support your position. This is just an opinion. This is just a belief system you have. This is just subjective. Oh, my truth, my opinion. I feel. I said, no. I know this is not true. It don't matter how you feel. You could feel like America's a racist country in the world, but if your standard of living is the best place ever, it's right here, right? The richest 1% of black people live in this country, no matter your social economic class or social economic status in America. You're considered the wealthiest black people in the world. And it so happens to be the most racist place in the world. Those two don't make sense to me. It don't compute. Either you're complaining about over nothing, or you're over exaggerating negative slights and attributing it to racism. And I think that's the secondary option. But I digress. Let's get back into this.
And they will talk down to you as they're busy being arrogant, ignorant, self-righteous, and wrong. This video on TikTok got 90,000 likes. 90,000. It just shows you these modern people on the left do not read. They don't research. Many of them are like just mindless sheep following what they're being told. I mean, clearly it's the blind leading the blind. We're smarter than you, and then goes on to prove the exact opposite. So thank you for proving that one of the reasons why the right is less depressed than the left is because we're smarter than you.
Hey, it makes sense to me. And I talked about the happiness poll before. I think I mentioned this before on my channel a long time ago. I think earlier in my channel, like the first few videos, I talked about the happiness disparities amongst political leanings. Conservatives make better parents, right? Kids raised by conservative parents have a higher rate of being mentally healthy than people raised with liberal parents. Granted, most liberal parents do raise mentally healthy kids. It's just more so on the right, right? It's like 80% on the right, and it's like 60, 70% on the left about mentally healthy kids. Now, it just seemed like everything coincides doing like better in general happiness, life satisfaction, because I don't know what is about conservatism. One of the things I believe about conservatism is that it teaches you to be practical. It looks at things like, hey, you have to make a trade. All right, you want a traditional man? There's a cost to having a traditional man. You want to be a modern woman? There's cost to being a modern woman. You can't have both. You must pick one. Conservatism forces you to live in practicality. And that's why that's like a lot of the reasons why conservatives and Republicans weren't popular, because Republicans will be the ones to say, hey, we need to be more efficient with healthcare. Hey, we need to cut down Social Security because we can't sustain this for a long time. Republicans is that uncle that tells you to be financially responsible when you just made the most money you ever made in your life, and you feel like buying a new Ferrari. Your uncle's trying to talk you down and say, no, you need to invest. You need to save this money. And you're going, no, you're no fun, uncle. When am I going to get to enjoy my money? It's not about enjoying your money. It's about having a fulfilled and stress-free life. And you have to make sacrifices. That's conservatism. That's why conservatives rely so much on tradition. Because traditions are ideas that's been time-tested. This new modern stuff is a blip in our history. This is new stuff. We still don't know the outcomes of that. If I told you, hey, there's a new engine in this car, right? Toyota, for instance. Let's say Toyota put this new engine that's never been tested, has no track record. You don't know how it's going to be, versus another car that has, hey, time tested. This is Toyota's first engine. It's reliable. Everyone knows what to expect from it. It gets you 500,000 miles. Which car would you pick? If you're a liberal, you're more likely to pick the new car with the new engine. But if you're a conservative, you're more likely to go based on track record. Hey, this thing withstand the test of time. It's on. Everyone knows the flaws with it. They know the good and the bad about it. We have more history with it. We can see how it played out through different situations, different variations. And I know every single thing, if something goes wrong with it, there's someone out there who already had a solution to fix the engine. Versus the new engine, it's unknown. You don't know what kind of chaos you're gonna put yourself into. And that's the difference between politics. And because you are someone who tends to adopt trends slowly, liberals want to hate you for it. You're not quick to throw away centuries of human history of us distinctly knowing what a woman is and what a man is for the new fad of 5 minutes ago. Oh, well, now 2025, it's 2025. Men can be women now. Huh? That goes against every quiet, you bigot. Ridiculous. And they try to demonize you for that. Make it make sense. And this is how the modern left has ruined the Democratic Party, because who wants to side with that? That's how delusional you come across now, modern leftists. You're trying to prove you're so much smart, and you just showed how arrogant and stupid you are. But, I digress. It's not like a leftist is going to hear this video. But if you're on the middle, you get why I rail at Democrats so much. Because, like I said, I admit openly as an American, it does not benefit the country for Democrats to be this out of touch, this out of line with what the American people want and what the American interest is. Because it makes no sense for you to want to rule, right? Be in charge. You want to govern this country when you actively push policies that will destroy and hurt this country in the long term for your own short-term gains. And that's what the problem with the Democratic Party is. That's the problem with the modern Democrat. Self-centered to the point of narcissism. This is the modern-day Democratic Party, and this is their modern-day supporters. Let me know your thoughts and perspectives in the comment section below. I'll be interested to hear what you guys have to say. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video if it's on content. It really does help me on the algorithm. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.